Okay, folks, welcome back. This is Concept Pending, Heroes and Villains podcast, where we discuss our geeky obsessions and the process we go through to make things for you, the fan. And today I've got Mason Shara, and I've got Kirk Kirkley, and we're going to discuss Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Been waiting for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it in the movie, it's been 20 years, you know. We've been waiting for this for so long now.
Oh, for goodness. Yeah. Ever since, was it Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine came out? Mm-hmm. And we got the...
Would they tease this in the original suit? That's in the Wolverine.
That's in the Wolverine. No. I mean, like Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. No. We got the full reveal. So before we go any further, I should mention to everybody listening, this is a spoiler-heavy episode for this movie. Yeah, we're just gonna get into it, and this is your warning to turn away and come back after you've seen the movie. Right? This is as polite as we're gonna be about it. First off,
I was gonna say, honestly, try not to see spoilers. Like the cool, like one of the things, I don't know, like I know that's kind
the
of
surprise
like
is half the fun.
But like, yeah, for this movie in particular, the cameos were half the fun.
Yeah,
like
Well, I think some of the cameos that I knew were coming, I wasn't expecting the amount of time that they were going to be on.
Holy crap!
Elektra. Like I didn't think we were getting as much
as we did,
Elektra as we did, and I was like, okay, we needed this much Elektra. This is great.
Yeah.
So,
I mean. Yeah.
Like all of them get their licks in on Lady Deathstrike. Like you get like 3 different shots of like Wolverine beating her up, then X-23, and then Blade getting her. I think Elektra gets her. Like everyone gets their moment.
Blade was the one I had heard nothing about and was most surprised.
I had no idea he was going to be in it.
So good.
Yeah,
so great.
Like, there only will be one Blade, and then it pans to Deadpool. Like,
yeah, I like that. It's so I was talking to a friend about it, and then we came to the conclusion that joke is going to age pretty well, no matter what.
Yeah.
If the movie comes out, it's a really funny joke. If the movie doesn't come out, it's a really funny joke. Like it's just good. Like and I when it happened initially, I was sitting there going, "Oh no."
This is their way of telling us,
right, or something like that, or this joke isn't going to age well, but then it cuts to Deadpool like staring at you, like, does he know? Does he not know? So yeah, I'm really glad I didn't have Blade spoiled. I'm glad Ben Affleck didn't show up, but they got the joke about him.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I loved. I'm so glad he didn't show up.
I did not need
We didn't get Daniel Radcliffe, which I swear to God, I was so sure it was happening.
Yeah.
And I was so sure it was the fancy one with the eye patch. That's who I thought it was going to be. And then it turned around and I was like, wait, that's Hugh Jackman. I was like, that's not right.
But we got Henry Cavill.
Which was an
amazing.
Incredible.
Absolutely
like,
crazy.
If we ever needed to recast, which we don't, but if we ever needed to.
Until you're 90.
But honestly, though. Well, and even Kevin Feige's been like, yeah, we're not recasting him.
Oh, really?
I was like, Hugh Jackman.
And then Chris Evans showing up.
Oh. And then thinking that it was.
Is he going to say the thing? He's going to say the thing.
Flame on.
Yes. Oh, so great.
I love him.
Real quick, obviously, I think the answer's unanimous. We all liked it, right?
Oh, I loved it.
Yes.
I did like
it. It was
I loved it.
A lot of fun.
100%.
My parents said it was a little bit gratuitous and gore, and I was like, but it's Deadpool.
Right.
So be quiet.
But of all the Deadpool movies, it was probably the least gratuitous gore.
No.
Well,
I mean, the way they killed Johnny.
Besides the intro.
The intro and then the Johnny.
And Johnny. Okay, all right, you're right. But there was so many more. I noticed a bunch of, I call them the Walking Dead CGI blood splatters because you see them so much in that show. But like, there's so much like Wolverine stabs a guy, Deadpool stabs a guy, and there's like this. And you can tell how fake it is.
Also gratuitous, like gore, the bus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like so, there
was aggressive. I loved it, but it was aggressive.
Yes, the Deadpool army, the multiverse Deadpools. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
All the different
Deadpool.
All the different versions. There was a Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep,
which was like a really cool Ryan Reynolds. Like apparently Rob McElhenney, his partner with Wrexham, he was one of the TVA guys at Thor. He was.
Yeah.
He was the. I think he's specifically the one. He says, "Not you." I want eye contact. It's the guy you can't see his eyes, and so it was pretty fun.
I can feel him. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I thought that was it was definitely, don't get me wrong, it's 100% gratuitous and like
it didn't bother me.
But like,
that's the whole point.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Like, Logan definitely set a bar for how much gruesomeness you can have with Wolverine, and it's going to be a bar that you should live up to whenever that man is on screen. And then you have the other unkillable Merc with a mouth on screen. It should be basically exponentially,
Yeah, well, he's a living cartoon, right? Is the whole thing, right?
I loved it. I loved the way it introed because we had discussed how we thought it was going to intro and whether or not it was going to like start with like a whole bunch of people dying or like how it was going to go.
Yeah, you thought that it was going to be them getting down to their last choice, which was Deadpool. And it ended up being just like the anchor character thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of.
I have issues with that.
I do too. It also is just making a bunch of dumb theories as to who's the anchor character for the MCU.
World. Yeah.
But like at the same time, the anchor seafloor to what an anchor character anchors themselves to is the MCU. So like there isn't an anchor character for the MCU. Everyone is the anchor character of the MCU.
So let's go ahead.
Again, it's just making convoluted, weird stuff out of it.
So like it takes 1,000 years for the timeline to undo itself, but it starts at the end and works backward, which means that 1,000 years is meaningless. Like it's moving backwards through time, so the length of time it takes is from the point of view of the TVA, not the point of view of the people in the timeline. Yeah. They just cease to exist.
Right. The way he describes it is, look over there. That's how he describes it in the movie.
Well, yeah, he made it sound like it was a painless death. Painless end.
Well, he's not necessarily a reliable source of information.
He is the secondary villain? I guess he's
Cassandra Nova's definitely the main.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
So good.
Honestly, there were some CGI moments that I didn't agree with, but like all of the
hand stuff made me want to vomit.
That was so good. Like his
unsettling.
Very good.
It was so upsetting.
Grabbing him by his eyebrows and like pulling him up. That was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah,
it was a really cool villain. Oh yeah, I like that actor. I don't remember what I've seen him in, but he's good in everything I ever seen.
He was in
Secession.
There you go.
He was in Secession. That's right.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he's awesome in that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so like
he's a good villain, but like a dumb villain.
Oh yeah,
which is great.
Spineless villain.
Yeah.
I did think the whole like implied flirting potential romance between Peter and
loved it.
Loved it.
I love her though.
Oh yeah,
she has like always been my favorite TVA character by far. I love her. I think she's just like the right amount of sassy and shady.
She is amazing on Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
Oh, and that show's so great. Me and my wife watched that. We bought it on like Blu-ray when it was they took it off like Prime, and she was like, "You have to watch the show." So we went out to Target one day, got it, and like, I wish season 2 had happened. But whatever.
What are you gonna do?
Well,
now it'd be really hard since Jonathan Majors is kind of toxic. Probably not gonna get cast in a lot.
Yeah. Also related to the San Diego Comic-Con situation. I got it now, all that stuff. But
man, we're gonna have to come back to that in a minute because it's just too much.
It's crazy.
So what did you think of all the different Wolverine variants that like he met when he went through time? The tiny one was my favorite.
The funniest. Yeah. The Short King. Comics accurate Short King.
So funny. So funny. He was so tiny.
He's like 5'3" in the comics.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
That's honestly when they're saying they're not going to recast Hugh Jackman. That's when I'm like, okay, fine. We're never going to get a short Wolverine. I'll take it. Fine. One thing that though, speaking in the same montage, the brown suit in particular, I've been waiting for that. And the thing is, it was really sad. So when we saw it together, I didn't notice the reflection of Hulk in his claws. So I went and saw it that next Sunday, and I didn't. That was the one time this like my second time watching it. So I didn't like. I was ready for everything, but then I saw Hulk's face in his claws, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I've been waiting for that 20 years. Like that was so cool.
Which one? Okay, the one that I didn't fully understand was like what was going on with the 80s one.
I don't know where he's got one hand.
So that is Age of Apocalypse.
Okay,
that
was the one that I did not know.
That's like time travel shenanigans created an alternate timeline, and in that one, Wolverine only has one hand and has like an adamantium cap over the other one, and
Okay. It's a very feral wolf.
Yeah.
And then what was going on with the one with him being crucified over the?
It's a cover.
Skulls?
It's a very famous.
I've seen the cover, but like
Mark Silvestri.
I was like, oh, we're doing this. Okay.
It's a reference to the cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was an aggressive one.
So good.
Cool.
Yeah, but it implies something way worse than on the cover because you just see an endless sea of skulls.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I liked how one thing they did with that one in particular was how much longer his beard was, so you could tell that like they had put the thought into saying to tell the audience he's been here on this
for a while,
crucifixion for a while, and regardless of like you knowing what the source material is or not, it's still very good like visual storytelling.
100%,
and it's a 15-second clip at most. You know,
and
it's great.
Thinking about it, like he's got the healing factor going on, right? But if you this is thinking way too hard about it, but that's what nerds do. If he's crucified and it goes through his hand, but it goes between like the adamantium laced bones in his hand, he wouldn't necessarily be able to tear himself loose.
No.
Yeah, because you got like I guess if you were to try to go like up, when we're talking about it,
it's Wolverine. He could probably like, right?
They did also used to do it through the wrist, not the hands, but like, it just depends on who they're exemplifying in the crucifixion.
Yeah.
So there was that one. Okay, so how many did we get?
So it starts with one of he
starts with the short king.
Starts with short, then he goes to John the brown suit, which again my favorite. Then we go to there's Wolverine, there's the Skulls,
Old Man Logan,
there's Patch.
Yep.
Was that all?
Cavill. Did you already say Cavill?
I said Cavill.
Okay.
Which, by the way, though, the line delivery, just the one his like.
It was perfect.
This just feels right. Oh,
right.
No, he was. That was perfect, and I just love the whole. We're not going to do you dirty like the people down the street.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
But if I'm going to be the guy who's complaining about not having a short Wolverine, I can't support Wolverine. He's taller than Hugh Jackman. So
for a long time, the fan cast was Glenn Danzig.
Right.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Former lead singer of like Black Flag and the Misfits, and used to be friends with Henry Rollins and stuff. And he is extremely muscular now, and not that tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we're really talking about recasting him, I feel like the whole Taron Egerton conversation makes the most sense because he's not.
I'm still Daniel Radcliffe built.
True.
I
just think he's too weird. Like
Wolverine is weird.
Yeah, but he's not that kind of weird.
Oh, I have seen an interesting thought based on a lot of what's in the comics, in the actual lore and whatnot. Casting Wolverine with a Native American actor.
Oh, I could see that.
Because up until they did Origin, I think is what it was, right? Where it told his story when he was a child and all the goofball stuff that happened with his like family and stuff. There were a lot of hints that he was Native American in the comics, especially during the Claremont era. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, and I don't think that would be bad.
No, I think it'd be interesting.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be very cool. No issues with that at all. With Origin, with the whole 200 year, like that little intro where it shows him going through all the wars. I will say that's probably one of the coolest parts of that movie. Where
it's the best part of the movie.
Honestly, I like that movie way too much it came out when I was a kid, so I'm allowed to enjoy it. I like it way too much.
Oh,
I was like 14, and man, him cutting down the helicopter. I was like, that's so stupid, but man,
if you were to take the Deadpool part out, the movie gets a lot better, right? Like there has to be a sliding scale when you're evaluating superhero movies, because when I was a kid, what you got was bad.
Yeah,
you got, and you were happy about it.
Honestly, straight up, Michael Keaton and the guy who originally played, help me out here,
Lou Ferrigno.
Yes, put them together.
Could do like the crossover where Batman kicks the Hulk in his solar plexus to be able to knock him out. So like the way that worked is Batman had knockout gas, but the Hulk wouldn't breathe in. So Batman, using his knowledge of anatomy and martial arts, kicks the Hulk in his solar plexus. Breathe. Yes.
Yeah.
And that knocks him out because he breathes in the gas finally. And yeah, I don't know what happens after that. I assume Batman's like, cool, and sprints away because
what do you do?
He's just a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also a bat. He got bit by a radioactive bat. That's what I've heard. I read the comics.
I see. Is that way he has the web shooters?
Yeah. When he shoots the bats out of his wrist. Although I've had the argument way too many times with people that organic web shooters are better than the built web shooters, and it does make sense for the character.
I say they're different. I don't know if they're better. I don't have an issue with them.
I don't have an issue either.
Yeah, I find them different. Like,
so like if you're gonna have a character named Spider, this is I'm not gonna say I hold to this theory because I mean like originally the character was written with the mechanical web shooter. We're talking about Wolverine and Deadpool. This is not, but anyway, the character was written with he built his own things, right? Yeah. But Sam Raimi had the idea that was like, well, if the dude gets bitten by a spider, like there are a lot of creatures that can climb on walls. They have super strength for their size, and but only one animal has webs. Yeah.
Well, and also, like, you're talking about verisimilitude, right? Which was the whole watchword for Richard Donner's Superman, but it's one of those things that still comes up and is important, you know, because you're talking about stretching your suspension of disbelief. It is convenient for someone who just happens to be bitten by a spider to also be a super genius who can invent web shooters. So this being Spider-Man's first big budget outing in a movie theater, it does kind of make sense to try and like say, well, he gets the web shooters from the bite, right?
Makes things easier, I think, for storytelling.
It does.
Because you think that, you know, specifically that Peter Parker, who was poor as hell in those movies, I don't think he would have had tech to build it. But
I mean,
him making his own suit was great. Like, it was really cool watching him doodle with the Sharpies and all that. As a kid, I was like majorly inspired by that. I was like, I'll become an artist because of Peter Parker in this movie, and I never did. But
I do have to point out, though, that like it shows him sketching, and then it cuts to him in a suit that has all these like 3D printed molded things on it. And
that is true. How do you do that?
I mean, technically you could. It's very, very unlikely.
For a man not trained in garment construction.
Right?
Someone would know that that's not possible.
But at the same time, people of lower means do usually have to repair their own clothes, so they won't know how to make their own clothes. They can't.
Printing patches.
No.
Well, and this was before 3D printing was even widely available. But he could have like hand sculpted the webs flat and then made a mold and poured silicone.
Got a hair dryer.
He could. I'm not saying makes a lot of sense because he's poor, and I mean him being poor is something they did carry into the MCU. Like even now, since nobody remembers him, I mean, you got to wonder how he's getting by.
Oh my God, is he gonna be bad now?
Or is he gonna beat up criminals and like give back the money they stole, but then be like, give me your wallet?
No, they're just recasting Tom Holland as a villain.
You get out of here right now. I love him.
Bringing him as he's gonna come back as let's see, what villain would you make Tom Holland? Taka. Yeah, there we go.
Or is he, Prowler? No, never mind.
Oh,
that can't be Prowler.
No, it can't be Prowler. No. For one thing, we got a really great casting for Prowler and Donald Glover, right? And if we don't actually see him as Prowler at some point, it's gonna be kind of on the same level as never seeing Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. Like, we had that opportunity, and you guys just didn't do anything with it.
Right?
Come on.
So back to the movie.
Oh yeah,
right.
I had two thoughts actually. One, I know that there were a lot of Easter eggs and the stuff that was in the surrounding, like the 20th Century Fox sign, that kind of stuff. There was some stuff that I was kind of confused by that may have just been there to be there. Like, why was there a pirate ship? Did that have any connection to anything, or was that just there?
I think it's just I think that's one of those references you're allowed to fill in the gaps with how you want to. Gotcha. So you've read a comic book with Wolverine and Deadpool, and it had a pirate ship. You get to go, oh hey, look, that's probably that pirate ship from that comic book.
Okay,
but one thing one of those little things I did notice was Deadpool's laying there, Wolverine's about to stand over him, pop his claws, right? Off to his, like, up here above his head, there's a Secret Wars comic book issue. I really like. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Well, and then I also saw there was a Thor's helmet at one point, and I was like, Thor's been here. Because, like, that was the other thing I was going to bring up. Nova, she was like, you're the first Wolverine we've had. So, like, there's never been a Wolverine that had been pruned. Who else has there not been there? Because obviously, like, we've seen a lot of people.
And they confirm Magneto and Charles have been there.
Yeah. Well, and we obviously know that we saw Thor's helmet, so Thor has been there. Right. So, and then there was Johnny Storm, but, like, has Captain America been there? Like,
so I don't think there's any reason for an MCU character to have been in the Void. That's the whole point of the Void.
Okay.
Was we have moved on from whatever is in the Void and moved on to the MCU. The reason why Chris Evans wasn't Captain America in The Void
was because he was that. Okay.
Because
now
his
I
character that did get pruned was the Fantastic Four universe.
Interesting. I had not put that together.
So like that wasn't an MCU Thor. That was like that might have been
Thor from the Hulk movies in the 80s.
Exactly.
Well, it looked like the helmet did.
Did it have the wings?
Yes.
And all that?
No,
like
it looked
it
real.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But there was another version of Thor that had been pruned in the Loki series. Throg, the frog Thor. It was in a jar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
So
and my
there.
question then is, so everything that happened on Loki season 1 and 2, that doesn't pertain to anything that happened here.
well, but like, how
From
big
like
is the
a-
void?
That's my question.
Right.
And is there only one void?
I assume there's one void, but I also assume it's freaking huge. And like the Lokis were all kind of hiding out anyway.
Yeah.
So
And then we never saw the Deadpools until they appear.
mhm. So I think it's big enough and there's enough going on that
And
like
everyone's just like hiding in their own little locations.
because it's like supposed to be kind of the liminal space of the multiverse. It's the space where things get pushed out to the edges and are just deliberately forgotten.
Yeah.
So
You see very similar portals that you see in Thor Ragnarok dropping stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like important, but I think that
I
think
had
that's
wondered about that.
It's an
That's a
it's,
good
It's
point.
just a moment where it's like, oh, there's stuff literally dropping. I've watched Thor Ragnarok 100 times.
So-
And I
is the devil's anus really just a Goliath?
is that where Eliath poops?
But honestly, it's a good question.
Speaking of Eliath, it does make me very sad that Blade and Elektra and Gambit got eaten.
Okay, we didn't see it though.
But
And
Laura made it back.
yeah, I don't think they got eaten.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, did she make it back?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sitting at the table with him at the end
But
of
that was a different realm. That was a different world.
No, we're back in
They got sent. They negotiated to
because-
have them sent back by the TVA. Remember?
their universe lives because they created a new anchor character.
Well, yes, no, but in his universe, Logan died.
Mm.
So that
And that's
Laura was
confusing,
in
too.
existence already.
Because isn't that the future? And this is in the present. So hasn't that not happened yet? So aren't there now two Wolverines?
No,
And two anchor beings in the same universe.
I can't accept that. I can't
Well, no,
accept
because
that.
like, you see what I'm saying?
Suspension of
Like,
disbelief.
she should be there anyway about it because she didn't die in Logan.
Okay,
So
I mean,
is that-
if X-23 is there, then there are four, because she eventually is a little kid. And okay, never mind.
actually,
So in my mind, it was that world's her who lost her Logan, and now she has a new Logan.
there's so many lines that she says that implies that she is literally X-23 from Logan. She has they have the callback where she says, I don't know who you're looking for, but I'm not that guy.
But
That is
like-
what Logan says that to her. That's like his first line. to
But
her.
there are like an infinite number of worlds where that
happened.
scenario could have
Yeah.
been
Sure,
played out. So like, it may not be the same her, but like almost all the exact same stuff happened.
Yeah.
So she came from a universe that a different Logan anchor character died in her universe.
Mhm.
Her parallel version of Laura has also now it no longer exists.
Yeah.
So this is a completely different.
And we don't know that her Logan was an anchor character,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and from what Elektra and them said, they said that they got taken out and pruned because they would have been the ones fighting to save their
Right. You didn't get a
their
chance.
multiverses. So their multiverses were dead because they weren't there to fight for it. So that then would make sense that she would have been what would have fought for her multiverse, and she got pruned. And that's all I'm thinking.
So now we've got a different Logan and a different Laura back together in
Yes.
the original Fox universe.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. And now we also have Dogpool in a universe that she shouldn't
That
be in.
also Dogpool.
The best character.
Holy crap.
Loved it. Perfect. Obsessed.
There is just a point where
So
Pet
cute.
is so ugly, just so unbelievably, ridiculously hideous. It comes back around and you just love it.
Well, I just love her running. The way she ran. I was just like,
And that tongue.
this is the cutest dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like in the uniform. And you can tell, like outside of the movie, Ryan Reynolds loves that dog. Ryan Reynolds is obsessed with that dog.
That dog won ugliest dog in the UK contest.
Well, and the
That
dog
exact
got,
dog? Or
Yes,
dog?
that exact
really?
dog.
well, and so
I didn't know that.
the actress dog
Yeah.
got flown out to San Diego Comic-Con specifically because Ryan Reynolds said that she had to be there.
For the
Yeah. He was like, she is a part of this. She has to be here.
No.
Which, I mean, she was a very important part of the movie,
Like,
honestly.
one of the most interesting and sincere emotional beats in the film. Every time the dog shows up and Deadpool's just like, I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
His hatred of
Nice beat.
Deadpool. Nice Deadpool. Oh, he was so creepy. Honestly, I was glad when he died. I really hate to be that way, but something was just very off about him, and it made me uncomfortable.
He didn't go
It's
through
just
the
regenerate.
he didn't go through all of that.
Yeah.
And so like he
was not.
he was still the mess. He was still the 40 confirmed
Merc.
special ops killer who has now put on a smiling face and is just like, hey guys.
He was creepy. I just imagined him like making
Yeah.
me an espresso at a coffee shop, but like poisoning
And
it.
he's gonna kill you. Yeah.
He was scary. I don't like him.
And yeah.
Super creepy.
But
And
the-
then the one that I really want, and I want more backstory on, and I know that y'all probably know as comic people, the freaking zombie head. I need that.
Headpool.
I need that to be a part of my life, and I need to know more. It was hilarious. It was well done. I need to know who he is.
So he's specifically a companion to Lady Deadpool.
Right. Oh, is he?
That sounds correct, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure.
And that was Blake, right?
Yes, that is
Yes.
yes. I saw that in the credits. Yes.
Yes.
And speaking of the credits, Henry Cavill is credited as the Cavalrine. They didn't change. They didn't say like Henry Cavill's Wolverine. They called it. I think that's funny. But yeah, no, I like that. I'm glad it ended up being her and not Taylor Swift as originally theorized in that first episode we talked about it.
Because Taylor Swift
be mad.
obviously should be Dazzler,
I mean, yeah.
right?
I'd love to should
She wasn't it. Well, that was the original rumor. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get any Swifties after me, so I'm not. I'm just gonna stay out of the conversation.
Oh, you're not. Oh, okay.
I just don't really. I don't.
Do you not see the point in Dazzler?
I don't see the
I don't-
point in her acting.
It's not that
I mean,
want to
it's
Wolverine,
The Swifties can come for me.
World
I don't
Takeover,
care.
man. That's
Taylor
what it's
Swift-
about.
I think she is a great businesswoman, and I am all for it. But like, I saw Cats. We don't need you.
That's honestly what she just went on $1 billion tour. I don't think she really needs to.
No,
make any more
like, I mean,
Like,
stay-
please give it to a.
It's
beautiful
not about
blonde
money,
woman
I think, at this point.
who can play Dazzler really, really well.
Yeah.
No, it's more of like, how many checks can I get that I've done this now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree
Chasing an
with you on
EGOT or something at some point. Because, you know,
Gosh, if she's going to attempt an EGOT, I have wondered about that.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like one of the only major like mainstream celeb singers that hasn't like
made a push at it.
vocalized
Yeah.
wanting an EGOT. Were there any, and this is the one thing that I wasn't fully, I couldn't tell because it was dark and I just don't have great vision. But in like the lair of Elektra and all of them,
Mhm.
what were there Easter eggs in that lair?
So, you remember,
what was that?
have you seen Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah.
So, the thing at the end, that was the same, that was the Scarlet Witch's, like,
Okay, yes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know that I panned and I saw the Scarlet Witch stone thing and I was like, ah!
Oh, shoot.
And I was like, oh shit,
Hold
no.
on. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, that happened. I leaned over to my mom and I was like, the Scarlet Witch. I was like, no.
yeah, I thought she was going to show
I
up in
know,
there, and I was like,
oh,
oh,
God.
shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
I definitely missed that. No,
I saw that. But then, like, everything else, I was like, what is this skull bed made? Like, whose skull is this bed made out of? And what is this? And, like, I felt
mean,
like there were things.
A lot
in
of
there
that is going to
I
be
didn't
stuff they've
know.
scavenged and just to
True.
have something workable, right?
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on anything in that. I was just too like, freaking out.
No,
about,
I was
like,
freaking out about everything and everyone
like all
walking
the
in.
things they put in front of my
Yeah.
face, like jingling keys. Like I just was paying attention to all that, you know.
I was too, but I was trying to pay attention to surroundings because I was like, there are things here, and I know there are things here, and I just can't place
Right.
what they are.
Yeah.
Also, Channing Tatum's,
That accent, holy
oh my God.
Jesus.
exactly what I was going to say.
Oh my God.
So funny.
He is too much.
He is so funny.
He
funny
is
guy.
so too much. Oh my God. Every time you spoke, I was like, I can't do this. I cannot be here.
Shout out to Channing Tatum being from Alabama, where I'm from. So I always feel like it's about that. It's like, yeah,
I love Channing Tatum.
I understand,
This
man.
was just
I'm from
love.
Oklahoma. Anytime I see someone from Oklahoma, that's not embarrassing. Sorry, Yokies.
it's like I feel it.
Yeah.
I loved the movie though. I really did think it was cool, and like we didn't really talk about Nova.
A little bit. We talked about
Like,
we talked about her a little bit, but yeah, no, she was.
I was like,
good.
Richard Rider, what? No, never mind. Wrong Nova.
Somebody pointed out that she was the best bald villain of all of the Deadpool movies. Did y'all rewatch those before the movie?
Oh.
So the first one is a bald guy. He's a bad villain. He's
Yeah.
a bald guy. Second one's like a bald politician who's a bad
That
guy.
is hilarious.
Third one's a bald lady who's a bad guy. Like,
Well, I did not realize that. That's funny.
so it said she was a little generic, but she was the best bald villain of all the Deadpool of the Deadpool trilogy.
I mean, she gave me the same like scary vibes as Hela did. Because Hela is like one of my favorite villains. Like she was terrifying.
Yeah.
And like had no issues with just fucking your shit up.
Flaying you alive.
And
literally.
Cassandra Nova was terrifying to me. Like she was haunting and terrible and like ruled with an iron fist, and it was horrifying.
Her being in just like an absolute like she gets stabbed through the chest and she's like, oh no, I'm so scared. Like I did like when she just turned Munson back into the floor.
Yeah.
I like that. Like it showed how powerful she was.
Yeah, she a force to be reckoned with. Do we think that she'll return, or do you think she's gone?
I really need her to. I don't know. I think she was a great story for what it was, but
that version definitely is obliterated.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm just curious, like, if we'll ever get a version where her and Charles are alive.
Wait, so Elektra, Gambit, and Blade could have lived through the Alliance.
I feel like they're not dead.
Nova didn't make it?
Well, but she was
Nova. In...
Oh, right. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about them jumping through the portal. I forgot they have the whole final fight.
I just know that with Marvel and Star Wars and Lucas and Disney at this point, if I do not see an on-screen death, I don't believe they're dead at this point. Like, I feel like they have done that to us so many times now, where like we have assumed they're dead for like 5 years, and then randomly that one character reappears somehow. And so like I'm not writing them off.
They even made it retroactively apply to Palpatine, which I hate.
Yeah. I mean, Moff Gideon died like 4 times. Like, so it's like I don't buy that they're dead until I see them dead.
So what we're waiting on is like a 5-part movie epic starring Mickey Mouse and his friends that brings back Clarabelle the cow.
Clarabelle's been not dead though.
Really? Recently? I don't know that she's dead, but like,
I mean, she
not used in anything.
Like, in any animated, but she's at the parks.
I think she got pruned by TVA.
Yeah, she's like a character, like one of the main characters.
Oh,
of the park. They also bring her at Pride every year and like put her in a rainbow dress, and she does like sassy Pride dancing. It's very weird. I'm like, so is Clarabelle a lesbian? Is that what we're getting at? Because I'm into it, but like, where did that lore come from?
Well, because like for a long time it seemed like she was supposed to be paired up with Goofy, which is just like, what? I mean, what? I mean, it's already weird that Pluto's a dog and so is Goofy, ostensibly.
And they have two sentience, two different sentiences levels.
Right. Like, if you really start thinking about it too hard, it starts to be extremely bizarre. Yes. Yeah.
Of course.
So overall, you loved it, though?
Yeah. I saw it twice. On second viewing, the part kind of towards the end of the first third, right before the fight in the van, I felt that sagged a little. That's when I got up to go to the bathroom.
I agree.
And because some of the jokes really depend on hearing them for the first time for it to be, maximally funny.
Yeah. Not
all of them. Several of the jokes still landed with me, right? For one thing, let's just be honest, Chris Evans is a charming motherfucker.
He is.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think, will we see more Deadpool?
Oh, yeah.
Especially now.
What I want to know is how they plan on introducing the X-Men into the MCU. Like, are they going to wait until Secret Wars and bring them in there? And then, like, say everybody winds up on the Beyonders world, the Secret Wars thing happens, and whatever happens at the end, they all wind up stuck on the same world in the same timeline as a result of it. You think that's what's going to happen? Or
I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how they're looping in. I'm still confused, especially from the time variance, like not time variance, but the variance of time, not the TPA.
Right.
But I'm confused with the Fantastic Four movie being set back when it's being set.
It's in an alternate universe. It's not in the mainline MCU.
Yeah, they're probably going to get punted over.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question. It's like,
that is the sort of stuff they play with all the time. And if it was going to happen to anybody in the MCU, it would be the Fantastic Four.
Okay. Because I was curious, like, how we were going to get them with the Avengers and Doom.
Well, so we've already seen it happen once in the Marvels. Oh God! Now I gotta spoil the Marvels.
No, go ahead.
Okay, not that anyone saw it, unfortunately.
I saw it.
I loved it.
But, yeah, I loved it too. But y'all have seen the box office numbers. So unfortunately, a lot of people we were in here at superhero fatigue. It's a great movie.
Well, no, it wasn't superhero fatigue. It was the fact that Marvel fans are sexist.
That's true. Also, there
and also they lost confidence in it and didn't market it properly ahead of time.
There was a whole bunch of factors that came in, and so when we went to go see it. The movie ends with Spectrum getting transported over to the X-Men universe. I don't know if they're ever going to expand further on that. I hope they do. But I honestly, and now, especially bringing up that Fantastic Four is in an alternate universe, they're showing that it's not that unfeasible for someone to just accidentally go into space, hit a force field, and now they're in Earth 19999.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it 616.
Fair.
I mean, it's not.
No.
It's so frustrating. But also it's something that Imani pointed out, the girl who plays Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
She said, why would the one guy who's called it 616 be correct when he's a fraud? Like, it was Mysterio in Spider-Man 2. He's the only one who's called it 616. Why is Kevin Feige so insistent on calling this universe 616? That's not where the original stories happened. Like, 616 is where it happened. That's a comic book universe. Like, it's so frustrating, honestly. It's creating confusion. And just call it Earth 19999. Although it's kind of
couldn't you call it 2008 since that's when Iron Man came out?
That's fine. I don't care. I don't care what we call it. The designation is fine, but except for just don't call it 616.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Call it 626 for all I care.
So I didn't watch any of the feeds from San Diego.
I caught everything set afterwards, but
so the only thing I know really is about the whole Robert Downey Jr. situation.
Right.
Other than that, I didn't hear
that.
What was
and
going on.
I've seen people who are overjoyed. I've seen people who are angry about it. I feel like you got to see it play out. I
don't care. We just talked about Chris Evans. Chris Evans has been in it twice as a major character twice.
Yes, they picked him to play Doctor Doom. That's pretty upsetting, but it definitely feels like it's pandering. I'm sorry. That's on it.
Okay, so specific criticisms I've seen. First, in the comics, in the source material, Doctor Doom is Romani.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in terms of representation on screen in general, that is an underserved minority. And historically, they are a minority that has been heavily discriminated against. Right. And it would be very nice to see somebody from that background get to. While we're here and talking about that specifically, I also, James Gunn, are you listening? I also want to see when they cast Dick Grayson as Nightwing or whatever, I would love to see a Romani actor because in the source material, he is named as a member of the Romani people.
Interesting.
Yeah. And his parents were in the circus and everything. And it would be really awesome.
Oh, the MCU has 100% worked very hard to whitewash any Romani character that was in the original comics. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yep.
The son and daughter to Magneto, they're supposed to be from Sokovia, or they're supposed to be Romanian. Right?
Well, no. Romani is not Romanian. Romanian's Romanian. Romani,
Romani, is it Romani?
It might be Romani. I think I'm not sure. The language they speak is Rom. So here's the thing. I'm going to use a word.
I want people represented.
I'm going to use a word, and it is.
With a G?
Yes, it does, and it is a slur. But I'm using it specifically to make it crystal clear the group we're talking about, and I apologize in advance. Gypsy.
Yes.
They are more properly called the Romani people.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the language they speak is Rom. I actually read a book years ago, and it was explaining that the language Rom, basically they traced it and figured out that the Romani people were from India. And they had immigrated and were in caravans and stuff and stayed mobile. And that's where they came from as far as their presence in Europe.
I wasn't aware that in the source material that was Doom's background. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. That'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting.
Well, and I mean, why not? Why not do it? Still could be good. But
because they're worried about their numbers and they think bringing Robert Downey Jr. back will help.
Which I mean,
it probably will. And I think
seeing him as evil will be good.
Also, he definitely is an actor who has the chops to pull it off.
Yes.
His Oscar was for portraying Chaplin. I was talking with people earlier about this, and part of the reason he got the Oscar was his facility with accents. So
his performance as Chaplin was wild.
And another thing, Doom is under a mask the whole time, and when he's not, his face is heavily scarred up. So We're not
going to recognize him.
Not until Secret Wars, because spoilers for a 40-year-old comic maxi series from Marvel. But he basically tricks the Beyonder, gets his power, and fixes his face before.
So then he'll be beautiful Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Beautiful 60-year-old.
So we're going to cast Robert Downey Jr. and Disney isn't going to put his face on every bit of marketing.
The thing is it Dr.
I feel like the mask is what people care. I mean,
you have to have it. You have to have the
You
mask.
have to have the mask, yes. But
I think if we're,
I'm just saying.
I mean, what are they going to do?
They're worried about their numbers. They're going to put Robert Downey.
What they're going to do is they're going to have his face and he's got the mask half on. And so you see half of his face is what they're going to do.
It's still like, I mean.
Enough that you can tell it's him and it's all like scarred up and messed up looking. Mm-hmm. Right? So.
Is there anything else announced at San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel specific? That was a big deal.
They talked about
their timeline and stuff.
Order.
Yeah.
They talked. But like Harrison Ford came on stage and apparently there's a funny video of him acting like Hulk.
Apparently he loved it. And that's what I was reading is that he really enjoyed the physicality and the motion capture.
Mm. I also saw an interview with him where he was being asked if he had any ideas for what his popcorn container is going to be like for the movie. And they showed him pictures of all the other ones and he was like, oh no. He was like, I don't want that. And they were like, but
it's coming.
That's definitely
it's going to happen, dude.
When did the proliferation of fancy popcorn buckets start?
It was
a couple of years ago.
It was Dune.
Well, no, because they've been doing it for a couple of years.
Well, no,
but then
they became dirty and messed up.
With Dune 2 and
everyone's been laughing.
Yeah.
And that's where all this has come from. Is the dirtiness of the Dune worm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it went from the Dune worm bucket to
Wolverine and Deadpool leaning into it. But the thing is, that's Deadpool shtick.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to do that for Captain America, the New World Order.
Right. They need something to make it interesting.
Just make it like a really shallow bowl. It's the shield. And you eat your popcorn out of a really shallow bowl.
The movie itself was going to be shallow and boring because it looked like it's going to be.
I've got my own complaints, so I don't think I'm not
that trailer was the most snooze fest of a Marvel trailer that I've ever seen in my entire life.
You didn't like the.
Well, no, it's just like, and it sucks because like.
I like Anthony Mackie as Falcon.
He's great.
I don't.
You don't like him as Falcon?
He can stay as Falcon.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't like him as Captain America?
I just don't think he's a good actor.
I mean, he went to Juilliard.
Show me proof.
Ouch.
Because I don't feel like I've seen it at all. I don't know. He's just whiny and he's annoying. I'm not a fan.
I will say that. I don't think your criticism should be he should stay in his place.
No, I'm not saying he should stay in his place. I'm just saying, was he the best decision for this in general? No.
You know.
Well, so you're all right. So for storyline wise, though, you have two choices. Who's next Cap? You have Bucky Barnes. You have Bucky Barnes, who is the brainwashed assassinator of Howard Stark, or you have Falcon.
Well, no. From a storyline standpoint, yes, he makes the most sense. I just don't like him as an actor in general. I think from a storyline, yes, that's the way they lined it up. It was right.
And they've kind of done something with the Marvel movies, going back to the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton and whatnot. Because I'm talking about the MCU proper. There's a character that's been left out that shows up a lot. And it's really weird how often they show up. Rick Jones is not in the MCU at all. And like he was there when Bruce Banner became the Hulk. He was Captain America's sidekick for a while. He's like just one of these people who's always around. And I wonder, well, actually, I know why that is now. I'm thinking about it. It's because Universal holds the rights to make Hulk movies, and they've got the Hulk on loan. So if it depends on how that shakes out.
The way the whole trailer in general, the reason that I'm having issues with it is it gives me a lot of flashbacks to the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest Marvel flop on Disney Plus, which was Winter Soldier.
I liked it okay.
Because
I thought Wyatt.
I thought you were saying the movie Captain America Winter Soldier.
No.
I was like,
I thought Wyatt Russell was really watchable as just an odious person.
Yes. My whole thing, and I feel like this is where I'm coming off with my issues, is that it is just giving me yet another politically driven war movie.
I think what I understand what you're getting at. I think the issue with it is the politics don't go far enough.
Yes.
At the end of the day, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, we return to the status quo.
Right. Yeah. Right. They set up an actually really plausible and reasonable argument for the villains, and then rather than addressing it and they just have to like,
oh look, this happened.
Yeah.
And now they're bad guys.
So,
sure.
Well, and then my other issue with the trailer wasn't Giancarlo Esposito's character supposed to like be really interesting looking from like a character development standpoint, and it just looked like a man.
I was so disappointed when I saw he was in that movie because people have been fan casting him as Professor X. He said, "Oh, I've got a big part in Marvel coming up." It turns out,
Sidewinder,
and then he shows up in that, and it's just like, oh,
yeah, boring because he's such a good character actor. I don't know. It doesn't look as entertaining as I hoped. The only thing that I thought from the trailer that looked promising to me was the battle in the grove of cherry blossom trees.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's an interesting visual.
That's where I've seen a ton of criticisms too. People take screenshots of that and like, so literally the shot of Anthony Mackie standing there, you can see the green screen reflecting off of it.
So trailers get cut together before the final stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, that is such an iconic area of DC that we've never really seen in any of these movies. I feel like DC, we always just see like the White House,
the Washington Monument,
Abraham Lincoln,
and that's fine. No, I like the idea of the fight being around the cherry blossoms. It's just like you can kind of as of right now, it's not looking like this is going to be one of those movies where everyone's really happy about the special effects.
Well, but that's been the case with Marvel for a while now, and it's because of their timetables.
Yeah,
and they put all of their special effects people in a major crunch mode, and they can't get stuff done on time,
which is an issue. Which is I think that's something they need to change.
Yeah, they need to maybe get movies a little bit more finished before announcing release dates.
Right. Yes. Another thing is if they've been. I'm not trying to get political at all here. With that movie in particular, they were able to get an Israeli actor to play Sabra, but we're back to can't get a Romani actor for Doctor Doom, and like I think that's another issue that I've seen people bring up with the new Captain America movie.
Yeah, there was some DC news.
Was there? Wait,
about the comics.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they are going to create a new imprint called Absolute DC, which is going to be their kind of version of the Ultimates.
Yes,
which I don't know.
Been seeing news about it.
Mm-hmm.
Batman with his big, he looks huge.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And he's not rich. He's going to be a city engineer. And he won't have all the gadgets and stuff. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound like that.
And then...
sounds like, that is just man.
Wonder Woman's going to be, I think, was it the last of the Amazons? And the tagline I saw a couple times was she was literally raised in hell.
Oh, shit.
And then, Superman is not going to have the family, not going to have a lot of his support structure and whatnot. So it's
going to be evil.
I don't know.
He's going to have dark.
The whole thing is predicated on the notion that this universe is founded on dark side energy, and the mainline DC universe is founded on Superman energy. So it's more hopeful and bright, and
I'm into that.
Yeah,
that will actually be interesting.
Yeah. Any other news from San Diego Comic-Con? Gonna wrap it up here. Thanks again to Mason and Kirk for being here. Please come find us on social at Heroes Villains Brand. You can also visit us on the web, www.heroesvillains.com. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you for stopping by.